Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we get together after we've read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we are talking 2 manga series. They were both very short. The first of which is Solanin, and the other is The Girl on the Shore, both by Inyo Asano, who also did one of our favorites, Oyasami.
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 Oyasami Panapon.
Oyasumi Poon Poon. I am Erin of Happily Erin. With me is one of my lovely co-hosts as well as a very special guest. We'll have everybody go around and introduce themselves, please.
Hello, I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. And that's it. There it is. Welcome to the show.
I am Giancarlo Navas. You can find me on Twitter at SubtitledAnime. You can find me on YouTube at SubtitledAnime as well, where I post anime video essays, podcasts, and other lovely fun things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Very excited.
So excited to have you, especially because this MangaPod we've had to reschedule a lot. So we appreciate you sticking with us.
This was probably, I think, around February was when it was originally supposed to happen, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Around then.
Yeah, it was around then, and then a few weeks ago, and we ended up having to move it.
It was October.
Yeah. We did it though. We're talking it. We don't
listen. I'm really proud of us that we stuck to it. We got here. It took a while. It took some detours, but here we are.
We did it.
10:30 Eastern time. Out here talking about manga.
We don't have our Lou, our resident.
I know. Lou wanted
fan.
to be here, so go.
My neighbor Lou.
Mooches.
Shout out to Lou.
Yeah, go send him love on Twitter. Tell him we miss him. If you guys have never joined us for a MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka summary. Those will be read by lovely guests. And then we will give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read these manga or not. That way, if it sounds like something you are interested in, you can take your leave once we get to spoiler section, go and read them, and then come back and watch the VOD of this later on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/happilyerin. These are both very short series. They are completed, so once we get to spoiler section, you can go ahead and spoil all the stuff, but please wait until we get to spoiler section. Yeah, about these 2 series.
Yeah, not about everything.
Not about everything. So please do wait until we get to spoiler section to talk about it. Also, content warning: Solanin, wholesome, totally fine. Girl on the Shore, not so much.
I found out the hard way. I was reading this at my university, and I was sitting in the library, and I was like, "Oh, a nice manga." And then I have a certain page turn, and I close it, and there were people all around me, and I was like, "Oh, bad idea, bad idea." I'm gonna go.
I am shocked that your lovely neighbor Lou was like,
"Didn't tell me.
They're great. Just don't worry about it. No warnings whatsoever."
He just gave me a link to Amazon, and he's like, "Here's what we're going to talk about." I purchased said manga. I went to school all happy. I had my manga under my arm. I sat down. It's like a kind of a communal area, so it's imagine like a circular shaped couch, right?
Oh, no.
There's no back. We're all just sitting next to each other, right? So it was a nice day. And I have a certain page turn, and there's private parts, and I just close the book, and I was like, "Oh, I need to go somewhere else and read this."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There have been manga that I have read out in public where I've been like, "Oh, should not be reading this here." This is the one that I feel like if I was reading anywhere else other than my bedroom or my computer, I would just be so scared of somebody looking over my shoulder.
Die on the spot.
Because it's so lots of explicit sex scenes between minors.
That's the part that was the worst.
That's literally the whole thing.
The whole thing.
It's
just that.
So, there you go. Wanted to make sure you get that warning. Let's go ahead and do spoiler-free description. If you don't mind.
Should we do first? Should we do?
Do you guys want to talk Solanin first? Real quick.
Sure.
All right. So do Solanin, and then you can read Girl on the Shore too. Or should we? Go ahead.
So the synopsis for Solanin is: after graduating college, Mako went straight to work as an office lady, but she can't help the feeling that there should be something more to life. Determined to find a worthier goal, she quits work, but can she actually make her nebulous dream come true? And how will her sudden decision affect her relationship with her boyfriend, Taneda?
Perfect. So quick. So easy.
Ranked 299 on my anime list. Score 8.34.
Ooh. Awesome.
3 popularity. That's pretty high.
Dope. And then you can go ahead and read the description for the other one.
Girl on the Shore.
Yeah.
In a seaside town where very little happens, middle school students Kensuke Osobe and Kome Sato live in a rather dull life. But when Kome the name gets me shook, crushes her heart, the situation becomes quite unordinary. She starts a no-strings-attached relationship with Keisuke, whom he had previously rejected, both finding solace in the other to fill the emotional voids left in their life. However, being friends with benefits becomes complicated when real feelings begin to develop, and so consequences of their relationship start to take the toll on those around themselves.
Boom.
On the Shore takes a hard life, relationship. There was an extra paragraph.
Sorry.
Emotional pride and hate as a result made between them. I read that so poorly. We are professionals here. I apologize.
Nah. Perfect.
I'm an alleged professional.
I love it. Thank you. All right. Spoiler-free recommendations about whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. These manga. I can go first. I'll say that Inio Asano is very good at telling stories and at creating characters that you're interested in seeing how their stories play out and their relationships play out. Not happy stories, always. And by always, I mean 99% of the time. And so it's not his series are not ones that you go into expecting to feel happy or to laugh or do anything like that. They're very philosophical. They're very, what is the meaning of life? What do relationships mean? What do the tolls that our feelings have and what those feelings are? And if you've read any of his previous stuff, that will give you an idea, especially like Poon Poon, will give you an idea about the tone and the atmosphere for these. I think they're both worth checking out, just because they are so short and compact, and complete. Solanin is most wholesome thing he's ever done. Let's just say that. Most wholesome. So if you're wanting something a little bit lighter, more slice of life, go for that. If you're looking for something a little bit heavier, then Girl on the Shore is definitely an interesting read. I can't say I enjoy reading it, but I read it twice because I read it before for when we were going to do this previously. And then this time I was like, oh, that was just like 3 weeks ago. I'll just skim through it. And I found myself reading the entire thing again. So his series are always very captivating and engaging, but very depressing, heavy things that you don't really feel good about reading ever. So
he feels very like a lot like Makoto Shinkai in the sense that by the end of the story, it's kind of what you said. I didn't necessarily feel sad, and I don't with Shinkai either. But there is kind of like there's an out of bodiness to it that it's almost really, really bittersweet, but it's so true to life, both of them. Mm-hmm. And I got those vibes, particularly with Girl on the Shore.
Yeah,
it stuck out to me a lot.
Would you say that you recommend both of them?
Whatever. Well, I guess it kind of depends on taste. So I really love. I come from mostly watching anime, and I really love anime about music. And music is really. I just love the way stories and narratives can connect what sound means to individual people. And Solanin in particular, I think, does a really good job of painting that relationship with music and just how music can live through people and through others. I didn't really find it engaging as a narrative, but I really loved the message about it. Girl on the Shore I found more interesting, but it's a really tough read for things we've mentioned. It's It's a little difficult to get through at times. I do think the characters are really interesting. I don't know that I'd find it too recommendable depending on the people. If you like Scum's Wish, an anime from last year, it's very Scum's Wishy.
Of Scum's Wish, yeah.
Scum's Wish is more fun though. Like this Girl on the Shore is like the very serious version of Scum's Wish. Scum's Wish just wants to have a good time. Girl on the Shore wants to make you feel bad. So, Scum's Wish is the fun uncle. So Solanin, it's kind of like the pure version of Nana. If you've watched that anime, it's like the wholesome Nana, and make you want to feel bad. Scum's Wish. Those are my analogies, and I am.
Love it.
Yeah, Solanin. Yeah, felt very like out of everything by Inio Asano that we have read before. Like it had the very real people in it, and it had the incredible art, but it felt like such a normal story in comparison to anything else. But I agree that like a lot of his work leaves you with like an unsettled feeling. I definitely felt that way with Girl on the Shore. I understood why there was so much sex in it. Like I understand it. At the same time, at the end, I was like, I don't know that I needed all of that.
Is it all necessary?
Yeah, I don't feel like it was all necessary. Like and we'll get into it more in like the spoiler section, but like it's one of those stories where at the end I was going, I never want to read that again. I never want to read that again. I got something out of it. I got that unsettled Inio Asano feeling out of it. But I never want to read this again. So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
It is like, it's hard to describe why, but like, it really is just a lot of underage sex. And yet at the end, you feel like a lot of character deep diving happened, and it's fascinating and unsettling, and I don't know how I felt about it. I don't know if I recommend it. I don't know, it was weird.
I kind of feel like Girl on the Shore would benefit from an adaptation where it can kind of like cut out all that stuff that's kind of unsettling about it, but kind of keep the character moments. Kind of like how Fate Stay Night, it's an ecchi game, but the anime adaptation kind of cuts out all that stuff and makes it a lot more palatable. I kind of got that impression while reading it. Like,
but I do feel like it's necessary to have it in there. Like, as unsettling as it feels, like
to show, I know. I'm like,
we'll talk about it.
We're approaching spoiler. We're not.
No, we got it. We haven't spoiled a single thing. We're doing good. No. We're doing very good. All right, so we're gonna jump into spoiler section. If you guys do not want to be spoiled for these two manga, we're going to talk Solanin first, and then we will be talking The Girl on the Shore. Now it's the time to take your leave. All right, can I have a countdown, please?
5, 4, 3, 2. You have 2 seconds left. You need to get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled. 1.
Inio Asano is gone. Yeah! Boom! All right, Solanin.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, no, let's do the question we usually do. What were you guys expecting before going into this manga?
Before going into Solanin.
Solanin, yeah, specifically, right now. I was expecting something drearier, way more drearier.
I didn't think it was going to be like... I didn't know it was going to be about music for some reason.
I didn't either. I didn't
expect it to be as normal as it was.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't expect it. There was no... Oh, wait, no, that's not true. I was going to say there was no, like, poop god or anything, but we had, like, the weird little rabbit characters. But yeah, it was the most, like, normal thing that we had from Inio Asano. But still, when the dude died, I was fully expecting it, but it felt like a bait and switch kind of in the way that I like was at that point, because he didn't die until chapter I think it was like 15 or 16.
It was like well into.
It's very far into it, and at that point I was like, nothing horrible has happened. Like they've argued. It seemed like he hasn't come back. Like that's what sounded bad, that they were gonna break up. That was gonna be the tragedy. I was like, oh no, it's gonna be so sad. But nothing else bad or tragic had happened. I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get through a whole Inu Asano series feeling good. Like this is
without
nice.
Something hyper depressing.
And literally, then he gets on his little moped scooter, and I was like, oh no, he's talking about being really happy. I was like, oh no.
Death flags.
Oh no.
Death flags. No one could be happy in any Asano manga.
So it was a very weird feeling. It was like the opposite of other series. But having not read one of his things before, what were you thinking going into it?
So when I first read Girl on the Shore, and then I started reading Solanin, I thought the main girl in Solanin was a grown-up version of the girl from Girl on the Shore, because they kind of look alike.
They do have traits, yeah.
And I'm bad with names, so after like a couple chapters, I go back and I was like, "Is this the same girl?" I was like, "Oh no, it's not." And I was like, "Oh, I was so proud of her."
She changed so much.
I was like, "Oh wow, you've really grown up to do a lot." Not having read him before, because reading Girl on the Shore and then going to this, I didn't really know what the style was. I know I've never read Pun Pun, but I've heard of Pun Pun. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, this could get sad, and then it wasn't sad, and I was like, okay, this is, we're going, and I kind of expected something bad to happen because he was being a baby.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed with him. I was like, dude, why are you being this way? I was like, there's no reason you have to overreact this way.
But but we all know him, Yeah.
Like,
yes, we all know him.
That really is something about these mangas. Like characters like him, you get annoyed with them, and at the same time, you're like, but I know this guy. Like I've met this person.
Love my neighbor. We grew up together, and then when he died, I wasn't fully convinced. For some reason, I believed, like, I was confused. I kept turning the page back. I was like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not, I don't read manga. I think the only manga I've read have been Inuyasha, Ayohana, and Review Starlight. So, like, I'm not a person that reads a lot of manga.
Yeah.
So, like, the idea of just turning the page and then bam, someone's dead was like a new thing. Like, it's like, whoa, wow. And then you turn back and you're like, did that just freaking happen? Flipping back and forth, you're like, hold on, like you reread, like, let me make sense of what just happened. Let me,
right.
In Spanish, I'm afraid, déjame ubicarme. Like, let me catch my bearings. Like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So it was really interesting from that point. But let me tell you, this guy's something. This Asano.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having read Pun Pun, I literally expected like weird shit to happen in both of these manga, and Solanin was so normal feeling. Mm-hmm. Still had like moments where you were going, oh man, that's like too real. But also I felt like Solanin had the nicest parents. Like
yes, the mom. Her mom?
Yeah.
Her mom yeah. we had like this whole, like high expectations. I think, you're making a mistake, like that whole conversation. But we also had you know what, you're an adult and you can do what you need to do with your life. I love you. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I felt like there were a lot of moments like that, like little conversations where you were like, oh.
I felt
that conversation happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And like another parent, like Tanada's dad, after the first time when it's really settling in that he died, they had a funeral and now everybody is in mourning, kind of grieving at the moment. One of the most tear-jerking, or like, sorry, I have a hair coming from somewhere. Really don't know where it is. There we go. There.
Okay, I'm reading a summary.
One of the most impactful moments of the entire manga is when she meets up with his dad after he's died and says, I still feel so guilty about the fact that Tanada died, and his dad says, if you're feeling guilty, then maybe that's the universe's way of saying that your purpose is to help prove that he lived and to help him live on. And it's just like, oh, that was just so heartfelt and such a... Ino Asano's very good at doing hard-hitting, impactful lines like that. And that's just a very top-tier example of how great his writing can be with emotion.
And it felt... Sorry.
No, go, please.
I was just going to say it felt like... the older people in this manga were able to treat the main characters as like young people who need to, be smart about their future, while at the same time like encouraging them. And I feel like that's a really hard line to write, like writing dialogue that skirts that is so difficult. And I felt like it worked. Yeah.
Especially in a short series. I think that it's difficult when you don't really get to flesh out these parental characters or these characters that guide, and then you're just kind of like, they kind of exist in these middling spaces. What I thought was interesting was how it took the take of grieving, and how we were talking about, it was her, now it was on her to prove that he lived. It kind of, to me, it felt like that's a way of how people grieve, where it kind of gives you a sense of agency when things are gone. Like, he's dead and he's gone, and like sometimes life can be so cruel and you have no control over it. And it kind of gives you a purpose to like, it gives you some sort of responsibility to someone that you really cared about. And that's kind of what the back half of the manga was to me. It was like, I would probably react similarly if someone like special to me died. Like, I would want kind of that, I guess, I don't want to call it burden of responsibility, but I don't know. I kind of felt how that would feel if I'm expressing myself.
Yeah.
Coherently.
Yeah. Something else I liked about it was the fact that Rip, who had the like tall dude with the black hair, takes over his dad's pharmacy or whatever. The fact that he doesn't end up with Maiko. I liked that because it totally could have been the stereotypical, oh, he has loved her since before her and Tanada even started dating, so it makes sense why they would get together. And they touch on it, and he's like, are you still not over him? And she's like, no, not at all. And then they just cry together. Like, it just shows you
so real.
Yeah, it was so real because it shows you that he loved his friend. Like, he loved his friend and respected him so much, and wasn't gonna just like try and take advantage of the situation because he cared so much about that person too, about both of them. And so I like that in the end, when Maiko does move on, it's with a guy that we didn't know before. So I really like that, because it could have gone cliche and it didn't. And that's something, Asano does really well, is sidestepping the cliches in relationships.
It's easy to fall into that as a writer, and I think it happens a lot in this medium, both anime and manga, because it's just the easy path, and I did enjoy that very much.
Yeah. As for the rest of the characters, like, most of them, while I remember who they are and I enjoyed reading them and stuff, they're not necessarily characters that stand out that I'm like, oh my god, I love this character so much, or this is such a memorable character. Just kind of all blended together. Once I'm done with their story, I kind of just like, okay, that was nice. Don't really like know what else is happening with you or anything.
About you again.
Yeah.
That's kind of unfortunate when you write such real stories. Like, something that, I mean, we've talked about how he does these subtle real moments so well, but I think something that draws me to mediums like anime and manga are how, I use Kyoto Animation all the time as the example. They can make the ordinary extraordinary, right? Like something as simple as a hike or a walk becomes this monumental, wonderful thing. And I think with Asano's manga, everything is just so grounded that even the ordinary is just ordinary. and these are just ordinary people, and that works good and bad. Good in the sense of that the world is engrossing because everyone feels so real, but also it becomes forgettable because, I mean, if we face it in real life, we meet tons of people and we just honestly forget them and don't think about them. And it's not a pejorative or anything bad about it. It's just life.
Yeah. What did you guys think about, let's talk about the art and then we'll move on to The Girl on the Shore. Unless there's some other stuff you guys want to touch on. But what do you guys think about the art in Solanin?
Yeah, it was good.
As somebody who hasn't read a lot of manga, and like I've said, my repertoire is mostly shonen outside of Iohana. I thought it was very pretty. I really liked it. Manga's a wonderful medium, and I'm really glad I got to do this. He draws well.
Yeah, I always love looking at his art. Being able to make characters look so real but still so manga at the same time is just so impressive. And his use of so different. Characters. Yeah, and his use of backgrounds and the way he uses his panels to tell action is just always so impressive and able to get the emotions out of you that he is wanting to. And he does that very well in Solanin, especially during the music scenes. Mm-hmm. So the really big music moments when they're performing just nails it. It does it awesome. And he just lets the emotion and what he wants to say speak through the art and the emotions he draws on the characters' faces and the sound effect, all of that. So I just think his art is always so great.
There's a panel when she finishes the performance and it's just a white panel. It's like, I think 75% of the page, and it's just all white, and it's her like clutching the guitar, kind of like almost in a prayer position, and it's like it's over, the song's over. Like that performance, that task that she had ended, and it was like that really was powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, his backgrounds are always so good. And also I think a lot of times in manga, like doing a really detailed face can come off a little comedic. And he's really good at adding detail to faces at appropriate moments when it actually like really supports whatever emotion he's trying to convey. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about Solanin, or should we move on to The Girl on the Shore?
I'm good on Solanin.
I'm good.
Good? All right. Let's move on. The Girl on the Shore. What were your guys' expectations before reading The Girl on the Shore?
Doctor's like face palming.
Lou warned us. Apparently not.
I'm glad
Johnny.
That you got a warning.
Yeah, Johnny didn't get one, but we were warned that it was very like big old maturity warning, that there was a lot of sex in this manga, right? I didn't expect them to be as young as they were.
Yeah.
Number one. And I didn't expect it to be, I don't know. I'm not sure how to put this. Like the tone of it was different than I expected it to be, and I don't know why. Yeah. I think because like so what we were like kind of skirting around at the beginning when we were talking about how we felt about this manga, like I do feel like it was necessary to have as much sex in it as there was, because like eventually it's kind of white noise of the manga, right? Like they're so intimate with each other. We've seen them do like everything to each other, you know?
Yeah.
And yet it hasn't brought them any closer emotionally, right? Like they're still using each other. And so that's why at the end I was going, God, I really did not need to see all that. And yet at the same time, it felt like it did add to it. It added to this feeling of like, eventually sex doesn't even matter in this anymore. You know, it's just like a thing that they just keep doing. But yeah, God, I didn't expect to feel so like weird.
Yeah.
This manga.
So weird. And like, the thing about the sex is like, it's not at all there to make you feel anything exciting. It's all made
No.
to be there, and the way it's drawn and the way it's portrayed is all to make you be like, this is messed up. Like, these kids are, something's wrong with, like, what's going on with these kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the relationship and the mess that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything Dodger said in that the intimate, like, the sex becomes mundane, right? It's like, it just shows kind of how empty it all is, and it made me feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I also think the use of setting was great. Like, just his room is like fucking disgusting. Like, it's a mess. There's like shit thrown everywhere. Am I allowed to curse? I should.
Yes. Yeah. You're good.
There's like stuff thrown everywhere, and it's like a mess. And I'm like, it probably smells in there. And it's like, it's very atmospheric in a good way. It's like the setting is very like engrossing. Like I was there. Like I can feel it. Like I thought it was all done well, and it's just like they just have sex on top of any like just like mess and everything, and it's like they just don't care.
And
I thought that was interesting.
There's something to be said, like, as she's falling in love with him, and near the end when he's falling out of love with her, sorry, my throat. Like, the sex gets so depraved, like, at the very end, the last part. And she, like, when she poops and he eats it, I was just like, oh my goodness. Oh my. And then it kind of makes that break your heart even more when he rejects her, because you're like, she was coming, like, being open with him, and that she was doing that, willing to do that in front of him because she loved and she trusted him with this kind of stuff. But it's just such a messed up relationship that there's no way it would have worked.
It could never be healthy.
Yeah.
Did you guys think, when you read it, did you guys think that he had maybe committed suicide?
Yeah.
I totally did. And I think it was so perfect the way that resolved, that he was just like, no, I just realized I needed to get my shit together and make a big change and like change my life. Like, I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
And she was like almost upset about it, like upset that he would come to that realization and grow without her.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that was like one of the best parts of this manga. It was her being so worried for him. And then when it turns out that he's like, fine, like he woke up, right? And decided that he needed to make a big change for himself. She was like frustrated with it, you know? And I thought that was such a good, like, her just being like, no, that's not you. You're not like this, right? Like, like such a shitty way to respond to it, but so like evident of her character and the fact that like she loved him, but she loved him in a way where it was like she loved that he depended on her, for like happiness. It was crazy.
I felt that's why I kind of felt that her feelings were really disingenuous because of that dynamic, and I always felt that she liked being the powerful one in the relationship.
For sure.
Like, I can show up whenever I want, and I can get what I want, and then I'll walk out the door, and then you will still want X, Y, Z, and I know that you're desperate, and I know that, you know, I have control over you. And it felt, I really love when anime or manga, I keep saying anime, but I like when these kinds of stories like hit on adolescence, because there's a lot like in the way we feel, in the way that we very clumsily express ourselves. And I'm sure that we've all been young and we thought we were in love, but we really weren't, and we mistake feelings. And I really like when stories like really go into that, and they like, this one just like completely picked it apart. It's like, I feel this, and at least to me it just meant to say, well, no she doesn't. She may say this, but as a reader, we're removed, and we see like, no, you don't feel this way. And it's like an encapsulation of youth.
And I think like one of the weaker parts of it was the ending, in terms of like the very last chapter. She's in high school and we don't see anything from him, and so it's just like really heavily implied that he was arrested. But I was like, I wish we would have gotten like a flashback or some kind of something. Like, I thought I was missing a chapter. I had missed something. because there wasn't anything else about him mentioned. Like, the last we see of him is at the second to last chapter. At the very end, he's talking to 2 police officers, and that's what we see, and that's it. I'm just like, what happened to you? Wait, what?
Where'd you go? You okay?
Where'd you go? And so, but yeah, with that last chapter, we do see that she has a new boyfriend. And that's the first time she actually lets him kiss. She gets kissed, that we see.
I love the juxtaposition of her home life versus everything else. Like this, like, tidy, uptight, like goody two shoes little family, and then everything else kind of like spirals, and she's like this twisted girl and stuff like that. I don't know. I've always appreciated those kinds of dynamics of, and again, kind of going back to the adolescence, like when we're young, you know, we at home we're one person, but when we walk out the door we're another. You know, we put on a facade for even when we're in our 4 walls of our room, sometimes we put the facade for ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dodger, I cut you off right before you were going to talk.
No, I don't think I was going to say anything.
Okay,
I think I was just...
I felt really bad once I was halfway through
I was just agreeing with everybody involved.
Listen, I do a sports podcast, and the point is we're messy by design. So we kind of like...
Yeah.
So I am by no means any sort of polished, as you both are very polished and very professional. We are not.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Typically, we feel very unprofessional, so thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
We're very polished, confident. Very organized. My co-host asked me, what's the show sheet? And I said, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And we do.
We do. Perfect. That's the thing. You figure it out. That's what you do. I love it. Yeah. Let's talk about the guy character. What did you guys think about him and his story arc?
More likable than her, still a twat.
Still unlikable, yeah, for sure. Neither of them were... It's not that they were irredeemable, but it was like you were frustrated with the stage of the life that they were both in.
Yeah.
I feel like he had more of an excuse, because like I feel like he did have circumstance of life that made him just like a really bitter person.
Yeah.
And I did feel bad for him, because I was like, oh, man, you're so young and like your life sucks and you're unhappy and you know your dad's never home and all that. Like I can see how that can really affect your psyche and your demeanor to be the way he was. I mean, not that I'm excusing him, but I'm just saying that I can understand how he gets there. So I did at times feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Also, while not excusing him.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a very messed up childhood, and just like, I guess he is still a child, but just like going on home life, like his dad is never home, his mom is never home, his brother committed suicide on the day of his birthday, his own birthday. And
oh my god, yeah, that chapter, the chapter where somebody asks like what's going on with the blog, right?
Yeah.
And he writes that whole big thing and then deletes it. I thought that was an incredible chapter too.
Yeah, I agree. And then like immediately like deletes it and says just passing time, LOL, or something like that. Yeah.
We've all been there though.
Yeah.
We've all done that. Either
Yeah.
through an email or text or whatever. We just
like
write
almost just
stuff.
unloaded on somebody and then been like, I can't. This isn't. I shouldn't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was definitely like a hard character to get into, just because I mean none of the characters are really likable necessarily, to put it bluntly. And so just seeing him figure himself out, like I was rooting for him once he did figure it out and was like, all right, I just need to get my shit together. You're like, yeah, that's right.
Do you like stories like that have like these characters that you're like, wow, you guys are horrible people?
It depends on how it's told. Like I don't, I I don't like to read stories about people being horrible just for the sake of being horrible or like being jerks or dicks or anything like that. So I think it totally depends on how the storyteller approaches it and how they use the characters. And also, I don't like it if it's being like glorified or shown in a good light. Like when the author is very blatantly like, yeah, no, you're supposed to dislike these characters, like, because they're not good people. That makes it a lot better.
Yeah, I don't like something like this was so much about the characters. It was so much just like focused on them, and I think if they had been older characters, I wouldn't have had as much patience with the story, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's because it's a story about like young kind of messed up kids.
Yeah.
They acted like dumbass kids.
Yeah, that you're able to be like, you kind of want to see whether or not they'll have grown up a bit at the end, you know. But when it's just
more, though.
that they grew up.
No, you were dumbass kids. You're just like, oh my god, you guys are so young. Like,
yeah,
no, for sure. But with like, I don't want to read stories. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie Closer?
I don't think so.
I absolutely hate that movie. when I was in college, everybody loved this movie. I finally watched it. It's literally about like 4 people who are all fucking around on each other, and they're all just like cruel, awful people. And I ended the movie and I was like, that was awful. Like, I don't want to watch I don't want to have an entire story about people who are just cruel to each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and just ruining each other's lives. Like, I don't see the point of that. And I think the reason that it felt more understandable in this situation, what I'm saying is I felt more okay about it in this scenario because they were kids that could potentially grow up to be better people.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think we're seeing Sting growth into a better person with that last chapter? What we see with the girl?
I don't know about her.
Yeah.
I think it's just progression of growing up. Like, I'm sure we've all done stuff in our adolescence that we look, not even that. Sometimes you don't even need a teaching moment. Sometimes you're just like, you look back and you're like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it kind of felt like to me. It kind of felt like she's like, you know, she's moved on. She seems different. What would be interesting was how would she react if she were to see him again? That would be kind of a litmus test of that. But
yeah,
which is why I was confused and I thought that she was in the next one.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh,
and you look alike.
You did grow up.
That's why I was so proud of her.
Totally different type of person.
You go. You have your life together. You know, you go, girl. You know, this boy seems very nice. I'm very proud of you for having a healthy.
Oh my god!
It took me until like, I want to say a good couple chapters in when I realized this is just a different person.
Well, at least you didn't finish it being like, man, this series was crazy to read. And we were like, wait, what?
Wait, what? What did you guys? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I had just finished watching Scum's Wish, and then I read this, so it was really fun to just have the back-to-back of just kind of similar takes on the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's twisted people in Scum's Wish, but still twisted.
No eating poop straight from the butthole in Scum's Wish.
No, that's not in there. You know.
Yeah, you know. That's,
as frequent as that is in manga, not in Scum's Wish.
Is that a manga thing? I don't read manga. Is that a thing?
No,
it's a manga thing.
It is
all the time. Yeah,
it actually does happen all the time.
Don't read manga.
That
Don't
was my
read manga,
introduction to manga. That was my introduction to like that. That. And I'm reading this. Is this all like this? Like.
It's all like this.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell's going on in Japan?
It's all like this.
What were your guys' thoughts on the art for a girl on the shore?
Better than Solanin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the cover. It's very pretty. Look, it has colors.
It is a very pretty cover. Yeah.
Which
like
came first?
Let me look. I'm not 100% sure.
Is it on my copy? Let me see.
Everyone in chat is like, wait, what?
Eating poop?
Girl on the Shore came out in 2013, and Solanin came out in 2006.
Okay.
Or 2000.
Yeah. Girl on the Shore is very nice. I was gonna open the book and show people art, but I just opened to a section.
That's risky. It's risky.
Yeah, it's hard.
Let me tell you, the only other time I've been so embarrassed was I was on a plane coming back from, I think I was coming back from Japan, and I was watching White Album 2.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a sex scene in White Album 2 that I did not expect to happen. And I'm on a plane, and I was like, oh my God, there's like this old couple behind me. And I was like trying to angle the screen. I was like, should I just like stop the episode? And I was like, I didn't think this would happen. I was like, I hate everything. It was horrible.
One time when I was on a plane.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say one time when I was on a plane, I opened up my laptop and I had that picture of that one PETA campaign where it was like animals in bed with humans.
Right.
And so I had that picture of the two dudes with the chicken in the middle. I had that like full screen on my laptop for some reason, and so I opened it and I was in the middle seat, and the dude next to me like choked on his water.
Let me tell you, I am horrified of watching or reading things on planes. I don't read manga anymore on planes. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm scared after Girl on the Shore. I will never.
Never.
I don't know what'll happen.
Girl on the out of all of the manga that we've read on MangaPod, Girl on the Shore I think has like maybe the most sex.
Yeah, definitely.
Kiss X Sis had a lot going on, but I feel like Girl on the Shore had the most like.
What was
sex.
Good Guy? Sweet Guy, the manhwa.
Sweet Guy, yeah.
That one had a lot more
Sweet Guy had
colorful.
a lot, too.
A lot more colorful.
Yeah, that's right. It was in full color.
Yeah.
So,
but wasn't that mostly hand jobs? Was that sex too? No, it was sex too.
There was a lot of sex in
Okay.
Sweet Guy, but it was a goofy like Sweet Guy is like fucking weird.
Yeah.
Girl on the Shore is also weird, but like
I was like, well,
but it tries to take itself seriously.
Yeah.
Sweet Guy doesn't try to take itself seriously. He literally has like an aphrodisiac superpower.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like sex fallen fanfic, but as a person.
He is. Just need to get some ABO in there.
Yeah, get some ABO in there. I'm sure down the line we'll never read Sweet Guy again on MangaPod, but I'm sure
it'll have it.
Chapter 100, somebody shows up and is a werewolf. I'm positive. Oh
my God, I love it. Now, did you have any thoughts on the art?
Oh, it's great. I don't honestly remember if I preferred the art of this one over the art of Solanin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the detail is always just spot on. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I agree. Details always, you're always able to tell exactly what he's trying to say, what the characters are doing. Though with like the sex scenes, there are a lot of times where I'm like, all right, what biddies are touching which biddies?
That's fair.
It's like, which one is doing this? But it was the like no like pixel sensors or anything like that at all. But it was very difficult to be like, what body part is this that I'm looking at?
I don't want to examine it too much either. Like I'm just like, it's just keep it moving.
Yeah,
just keep flipping.
Not zooming in on those that 14-year-old genitals. So
you know what happened? You know, when you mentioned zooming in, and I'm so embarrassed to say this, but you know, we live in the tablet smartphone age.
Sure.
And I was trying to read something, and I literally tried to pinch my manga, like zoom in.
Oh no!
Amazing.
And I was like, what? I was like, what? Why? Because before that, I had only read manga on a tablet.
Yeah.
I had read Ayohana on a tablet. I was reading. I had read Inuyasha on a tablet, so I had only read on tablets. And then now, you know, I'm like trying to pinch zoom my. I feel like an idiot.
If it makes you feel better, I was watching some kind of a movie that took place in the Middle Ages, And I legitimately thought to myself, like, why doesn't he just call this guy? Like they were talking about like how on earth are we gonna get this information to this other person? And I was like, you should just like text him. Like that's just the worst brain part. Yeah. So.
Oh my god, I love it.
You know, I'm so excited for like a version of these stories, like to have all the technology that we have today, like the Snapchat and the social media. Like I feel like that changes so much.
Oh my god, like adolescence stories.
Yeah, like just, or something like this, that like with sexting and all that, like even at a young age, how you can all this stuff. I just feel like with technology now, you can do a lot of really creative things with storytelling. That's not just
I think here's a manga you should totally read that is like a pure wholesome time.
I love pure wholesome times.
Yeah, you should read Densha Otoko.
Oh yes,
that's like a really great story where like basically one of the main characters is a message board. Like the main character like talks to people from all over Japan on this message board. And it's like I think one of the only manga that we've read where like so much time is spent on the computer and you still feel like a lot of story happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's great.
It's awesome. Really I love that series. It's so sweet.
So good. I want to reread it.
So cute.
That's one of my 10 out of 10s. That's one of my 10 out of 10 mangas.
I'm all in. I love cute, sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. Do it.
Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on, or should we wrap up, do final thoughts and ratings?
I think I'm good.
I think we've said all we need to say.
Okay, cool. Would anyone like to go first for ratings?
I'd probably give Solanin 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's solid.
I think it was above average. Nothing special, but certainly recommendable. Probably wouldn't reread it, but not bad. I'd probably give Girl on the Shore the same score. I give it points for ambition. I think it's unfair to call it average or below average. I think it's slightly above average. Probably would not read it again, and I probably wouldn't recommend it for obvious reasons. But I do think that there's something unique there in a story that it wants to tell that you can't really find other places.
Yeah. Cool.
I also was going to give both of these manga a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're both interesting. And they both have like I don't know a term to use that actually applies, but they both have like an earworm sort of effect to them where like I found myself thinking about them. So they definitely affected me in some way, and yet at the same time, I don't ever really want to reread either of them. Yeah, just like the experience of reading them was like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'll remember it because it was for MangaPod. That's very special.
Aww.
So we'll take that with us. Well, with me at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about giving it like both of them. I think like a 6.5 to a 7. I was not like gung-ho, oh my gosh, this is the best manga ever, I'm so excited about this. But they're both pretty solid, definitely above average in terms of writing, especially with the characters and the relationships and getting across the emotions that he wants to. I think they're both above average when it comes to that. And very solid reads, but yeah, don't really have an interest in buying merchandise or like being like a huge fan of it. Like I didn't feel that way about it really. If I was getting an Inu Asano purchase, I would definitely go buy more Poon Poon stuff. But I think that they are like solid series for what the stories they were trying to tell. So I think 6.5 for both of them is where I'm going to land on it too. So
sick.
So those are our scores for Solanin and the girl on the shore. If they sound like they are something you're interested in, go ahead and go check them out. And now I am going to go read the description for the manga that we are reading next week. And you guys in chat get to guess what it is. All right. The story follows Blake, a young man who has a history of stalking people he admires. After becoming infatuated with Blake, appear from his time in the blank, he decides to enter his home while he is out of his house. Blake is then discovered by Blake, who is revealed to be a Blake. The two of them enter a highly manipulative and abusive relationship that brings out both their pasts as they grow closer together, exposing some dark secrets to both of them from both of their problem-ridden pasts. Blank beats blank.
Battle Angel Alita, you got it, Tempeston.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. Isn't it crazy that we goofed about Battle Angel Alita for so long and now they're making a movie?
Yes.
Doesn't that, like, every now and then I think about that and I'm like, we goofed about that manga for so long.
I like to think that it was our reading it that finally got the movie completed, because it had been in production for years. Years. Oh, if you know what it is, comment. If you know what it is, post it. Come on, you can do it.
Do it.
It's our spooky Halloween week.
Have you guys read the one that I keep getting recommended to me for horror would be Uzumaki?
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
So good. I love Uzumaki.
Definitely read Uzumaki.
It was our first Halloween manga pod. I think
we
read. Yeah, it was one of the first ones.
So good. Read it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
They have really cool physical volume. Oh, they got it.
It is Killing Stalking!
Yes, we are reading Killing Stalking, all of part 1. All of the first part of that series. So that is what we are reading next week. Let's go ahead and shout out our stuff. I am Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel, also Happily Erin. I don't post very many things other than MangaPods there currently, but if you want to go and check out previous anime reviews, first impressions, mental health awareness stuff, it is all there. I haven't been posting much because I am getting ready to do stuff with a book, so that's what I've been focusing on, and there's some stuff happening, and I'm excited I'll be able to post more about it soon. If you want to see anything with that, you'll find it on my Twitter, which is also Happily Erin. I'm Happily Erin all across the everything, so that's me.
I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. I stream nearly every day, and I have a cute baby that I talk about too much, and that's it. That's my whole life right now.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
This is my child. Thanks.
I am SubtitledAnime. You can find me at SubtitledAnime on Twitter. On YouTube, I'm actually working on probably the project. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know how much I love Hibike Euphonium. And if you follow me more recently, you know how much I love Review Starlight. And I'm working on my longest and biggest project yet. It's a video about Review Starlight and how it's framed as a tragedy and how it's about reclaiming Takarazuka culture, which is Japanese type of Japanese theater trope. I think I have my Claudine and Maya. They're very good. Straight from Akihabara. That should drop on the 30th. So check out my channel. It's honestly a labor of love. It's became one of my favorite series ever, and I really love to talk about it. So please watch it when it's done because I'm really proud of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate having you.
Thank you so much. And lots of love to Lou, who couldn't be here today. Shout out to you, man. You're the best. You're awesome.
100%. And thank you all so much for watching this on Twitch or on YouTube. We really appreciate it. If you would like more MangaPod, we have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod. We have the schedule for the upcoming weeks, as well as a recommendation thread there. If there's a manga you'd like us to check out, go ahead and post it there. If it's already posted, go ahead and upvote it. Other than that, we'll be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, talking Killing Stalking, all of part 1, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye.